So they say that a man's castle is his home, and there's nothing more pronounced and beautiful than coming home to a garden that is lush with flowers in the middle of summer. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a front wall garden idea for your home, so that as you approach your home, you'll have something beautiful to look forward to. Now, if you're new to the channel, guys, please don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Now, as you can see here, we've got our front wall garden, which is looking kind of in need of some TLC with weeds growing out of it. Now, unfortunately, I didn't cover this over the winter. As you can see, we've got all sorts growing in here, from dandelions to grass and you name it. Also, the color of the raised box is looking a bit worn, and so we're definitely in need of a spruce up. Now, it's so important that whenever you've got wooden furniture or raised boxes outdoors, as much as possible, that you keep them painted every year. You give them a nice coat, and this will help to prolong their life. Now, today I'm actually switching this up because I'll be using a new paint. This color is a forest green from a company called Cupino, and they're very good at protecting your outdoor wood finishes. And so here goes nothing, guys. I'll simply be giving this a fresh coat of paint. Now, obviously, this has been out in the great outdoors, and the elements and everything has just been battering it, the sun, the rain, the cold, you name it. And so it's high time for me to give it its new coat of paint. Now, after trying this for the first time, I was a bit worried because it seemed as if the paint wasn't quite taken to this raised garden wall box, but it's a good idea to keep persisting, and hopefully at the end of this, which I'm sure you'll realize, everything worked out just right. Now, it's not difficult to actually paint this. However, phase one is the painting process, but perhaps what I could have done is move the painting process to another phase and allow the first process to actually be removing all of those old weeds that are growing in the raised box. But this actually worked out pretty well, so I can't complain at all. Now, there are 4 phases to this project, guys, and the first one is to get this box painted. And as you can see, I'm taking my time going over it, making sure that every inch is covered that is visible. And so far, guys, we've given it its first coat, and I'm starting to see a difference, guys, as it's starting to dry, locking in that first coat. And like I said, painting your furniture every year means that it's gonna last a lot longer. And this is what it looks like after the first coat. And now it's time for its second rendition, guys, because I want this to be really rich, really vibrant, because at the end of the day, this is going to be one of the first things you see as you approach our home. Now, this idea came to me some years ago when I was living back in London, where a neighbour actually had a similar wall garden built like this, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great to actually have that at the front of our home? And so this is my attempt at making that. Now, it's been around 5 years since this has been sitting on the front wall of our garden, and honestly, it's turned many heads. It's so nice to actually stay in our bedroom or the living room sometime, looking out as neighbors and passers-by stop to admire the flowers when they're in full swing. And so, guys, I definitely recommend a project like this, and I probably will do a video if you guys let me know on how to build something similar, as it's relatively easy using some decking boards. So that's phase 1 complete, guys. This is the second coat, and this is how the raised garden wall box at the front of our house looks now that we've given it its second coat of paint, guys. And so it's about time for us to start thinking of moving on to phase 2. Now, phase 2, guys, is the part where perhaps I'm not the most fond of, and that is actually weeding up this monstrosity. There's so many weeds in here, it's unreal. But you know, I've done this before year after year, and I know it will definitely come out good. So you can see that I've got a few plants which are perennials which have come back. First of all, guys, you can see this beautiful purple flowers here in the corner, which is an arboricha. They're so lovely, and we added that last year. And so, guys, I'm so pleased that they've actually come back looking spectacular. It's a shame the box is not in the best of condition. Now phase 2 basically means we've got to remove as much of these dead foliage and the weeds as possible, as well as scraping back any moss and roots that will basically stop the new plants from thriving. I will then amend the soil later on, but the first thing we need to do is to remove them. We also have some of our fuchsias which are still alive and just starting to come back in our raised box, and so it's a good idea when you're doing this in order to save money in the long run to put some perennials in there that will come back every year. Now guys, if you look closely here, you can see the first shoots of our fern plant. Now this was a fern that we actually harvested from one of our nature walks around 4 years ago, and we had some in the back of our garden. Now I did dissect a piece and transplanted it into the raised box just to add that perennial vibe, and it takes center stage in our raised box, and you can see that all the little fern heads are starting to come back, and it won't be long now before it's in its glory. Now this is another fuchsia that we have in the raised box, guys, and it's a really nice colorful one, and you can see the leaves at the root there starting to come back, and all of these branches are quite dried and needs to be snipped back. But for now we're focusing on getting all of these roots out and making sure that the soil is nice and clear, well, as clear as possible, before we can then proceed to top it up for its new arrivals, guys. And so guys, this is what it looks like now that everything has been weeded, and what we're going to be doing now is adding some topsoil which will hopefully bed in some fresh compost with new nutrients that hopefully will help our new plants to thrive. Okay guys, so it's time for phase 3. Now this part is really important, guys, where we will be filling our raised box with some brand new multi-purpose compost. Now this is great for spreading around your existing plants to help give them that boost that they need to put on those new leaves and indeed flowers. As it was pretty early in the season, guys, I didn't have all of the plants that I needed, and so I had to wait a little while before phase 4 could get started. But just before phase 4 could get started, we had to make sure that all the prep work was done. And as you can see here, the last thing to do is to give the raised box a really generous watering in to get all that compost to just mingle together and just to settle before it comes time for me to get the new plants for this season planted into our front wall garden. And guys, we can't wait. Okay, so it's been about a week since I've redone our box, painted, and now it's time for us to actually put some flowers in. I went to the garden center last week and picked up these beautiful flowers which we're hoping to plant out today. Now a top tip from me in order to get yourself some really affordable flowers is to actually find yourself a plant nursery where you can buy them in relatively small containers before taking them home, repotting them, and then actually getting them to grow on. And I've done that with some geraniums, which as you can see here I've repotted. These came in tiny little trays. I also did the same thing with these, which are marigolds, and you can see since repotting them in some soil they've already started to grow new roots. So I've taken a couple of these out in order to plant in our wall garden at the front, guys. And it's a good idea to get them in small, and then they can bunch up together without being disturbed. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Okay guys, so we're nearing the end of our front wall garden makeover, and this is phase 4, which is one of my favorite, obviously, because now is the time when we actually get to plant the plants that we've bought from our local garden centers into this raised box. And as you can see, all of our fuchsias which are in there are starting to come through now, feeling rejuvenated, along with our arboretia, which is a beautiful plant that comes back each year, and I'm sure it's going to look spectacular once it starts to trail. so it's been a week and a half, guys, since we've planted these beautiful flowers in our flower garden at the front in our raised box. And as you can see, they seem to be thriving, doing absolutely amazing. This plant here, which is, I hope I'm saying this right, Saxifraga or Saxifraga, whatever it's called. It's absolutely stunning. I'm glad I picked this one up. It's been constantly flowering since putting it in the box, and something is emerging, which is our fern, which has been in here for about 2 years now. And as you can see, it's started to spring back, which is really nice. Also quite nice, we've got these geraniums, which is an experiment. The first time I've actually put some in our wall garden, guys, and those two are also coming back. If you can see here, this is our fuchsia, which is a perennial, comes back every year. We've got one there and a second one down here as well, and both of them are on the verge of putting on new leaves. And just in the back, these are some of those tiny marigolds which I also planted, so they will grow and come up behind some of these ones which are already in full bloom. So far, guys, it's looking really nice. The paint job is holding up really well. I do love the sort of muted forest green, which adds a real earthy color to the overall mix. And I can see where the kids have been making a little wigwam out of pieces of twig from this fuchsia. But guys, I will definitely be giving you an update as these plants start to bed in even more. But that's it, our wall garden project is complete. Thanks for joining me, and I hope that you guys will get the inspiration to maybe give this a go yourselves. You can hear the birds singing. Our clematis is out in full bloom as well, which is always beautiful on this arch. Sadly, some of them got damaged this year. I'm not quite sure what happened here. We've got a dearth of bloom on this side. Perhaps one of the canes were damaged, but it's still alive and kicking, and we are enjoying it. Okay guys, so from our home to yours, we want to thank you, and we hope that you have an awesome day. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.